Good afternoon, everyone. Very excited to be here at Traffic Summit speaking about my topic, 4 steps to avoiding funnel corruption. At the core of each step, I'll be focusing how data, analytics, and proper measurement are absolutely integral to helping you grow funnel profitability and funnel efficiency. My name is Brendan Manley. I'm the founder of Virtual Ad. We're a boutique performance marketing agency based out of Toronto, Canada, and our specialty is focused on scaling direct-to-consumer brands who offer high-ticket products. My experience has always been in digital marketing. I have around 10 years of in-platform experience running campaigns across a wide range of different ad technologies. Part of that knowledge is also on the tracking and analytics side, placing complex tracking tags via Google Tag Manager and doing multi-channel attribution analysis in Google Analytics. I wanted to include our team here because the creation of this presentation was sort of a collaborative team effort. My business partner, Martin, is also in the audience today, and I just happen to be the one here speaking today. So it's no secret that maintaining a profitable funnel in 2022 poses real challenges. We often hear things like your funnel doesn't convert like it used to. Marketers or consumers are getting smarter every day as advertising competition increases, conversion costs start to rise, and it's becoming harder and harder to achieve really good, strong profit with your marketing funnel. You're unsure why your funnel doesn't convert. Identifying what and how you should be measuring funnel success can be complex, especially with data unreliability nowadays. So this is super important. And you're unsure how to optimize your funnel. So identifying, what issues are going on with your funnel is one thing, but then figuring out ways to improve the performance of your funnel is a totally different thing. And then ad performance is declining. As ad platforms get more expensive, competition increases, ad audience sizes decrease due to privacy opt-outs, and scaling performance on ad channels just becomes more and more difficult. So with these 4 challenges in mind, my goal today is to really help you, improve your funnel performance, the profitability of your funnel, and advertise more effectively to supercharge your funnel growth. So 4 simple steps. The first is mapping your funnel. So we're going to look at designing a highly effective funnel and what attributes you should take into consideration if you have a high-ticket product. Tracking your funnel, so best practices when it comes to what you should be tracking and how you should be measuring the success of your funnel. Optimizing your funnel, so once you're tracking things effectively, identifying areas of improvement and optimizing the performance to, in turn, have a positive impact on net revenue, and advertising more effectively. So, things like leveraging data to have better audience segmentation from a prospecting and a retargeting standpoint. Creative best practices, tips related to scaling funnel growth, and we have a cool little forecasting scenario that is meant to help you do better goal planning and planning around budgets for future years. So in the next 25 minutes, you should be able to plan a high converting marketing funnel, pinpoint exactly where users are dropping off, extract more revenue from users that are entering into your funnel, and improve your ad campaign performance. There's 2 special bonuses that I've included at the end. You have to stay till the very end, and I'll give you details on how to access those, but they're super helpful when it comes to tracking how your funnel is performing and identifying ways that you can improve funnel performance. So step 1, mapping your funnel. If you have a high-ticket product, let's say it's $5,000, $10,000, it's going to be very difficult to run a Facebook ad direct to that offer and expect users to pull out their credit card and purchase that product. There's no trust that's been established. There's no credibility. They don't really know who you are. And it's just going to be hard to have a profitable campaign when that's your sort of user flow. Huge buyer consideration. So, when it comes to a high-ticket product like that, and the higher your price point, the more hesitation users will have in order to purchase that product, and the longer the sales cycle, and it's not affordable to all income brackets. So people are in different financial situations, and you want to align different products or service packages based on what people can afford. So with this in mind, if you have a high-ticket product, it's really important to ease people into it. And you can do that through designing a really effective marketing funnel. So we're going to use an example. One of our clients is a real estate education company, and they offer high-ticket coaching and mentorship packages for aspiring real estate entrepreneurs. Starting price is around $5,000. The first step that we look at is driving traffic across a bunch of different advertising mediums direct to a real estate masterclass. So it's a 1-hour free training session by a real estate investing expert, and it's totally free, there's no risk, and there's a tremendous amount of value that people will get out of it. So it allows you to build some trust, get some people into your funnel, collect some first-party data, which is integral for, it helps you with your prospecting audiences, build better lookalike audiences. You can do some email sequence follow-ups, things like that. At the end of that masterclass, the presenter will pitch a $297 workshop that spans across 3 days, going in depth with everything that you need to know in terms of valuing a deal, how to find the right housing property to invest in, things like financing, different topics that are super important. The value to price ratio is super high. So you get a tremendous amount of value, 3 days, 8 hours a day, less than $100 a day, less than $10 an hour of content, and it's only $297. So keeping in mind that value to price ratio is super important in order to get people's buy-in to that specific offer. Gain commitment, start generating revenue from your funnel, start generating customers, and collecting some more data and leveraging some of that revenue to help fuel your future advertising campaigns and have a bit more flexibility with your ad budget. At the end of that workshop, the coach presenting that workshop pitches a monthly subscription, $97, to a video tutorial hub of 100+ videos of on-demand access to a ton of different content related to pretty much anything that you would need in order to effectively buy your first property or scale up your real estate investing business. Grow your LTV, you now have reoccurring revenue, and you're building funnel profitability. Throughout these 3 steps, you now have met people one-on-one, you're building trust and credibility, and now it's time to pitch them your high-ticket offer. So it's important because you also know who is more likely to buy this high-ticket offer because they've already gotten through 3 steps. They've watched a 1-hour masterclass, they've paid almost $300. They're now in a monthly subscription, so now you can try to get their buy-in to something that is really what's going to generate profit for your marketing funnel. So you've kind of eased people into it. And then the other cool added bonus for this particular company is a lot of the students that they do coaching, one-on-one coaching with, become great partners, and they do real estate deals. They become equity partners and invest in properties together. And that would be a very difficult thing to market direct from an ad if no one's ever heard of you before. Step 2 is tracking your funnel. So it's important to measure the success and the drop-off of your marketing funnel, because if you don't really understand what aspects of your funnel are broken and what areas of improvement need to be made. So we're going to look at what you should be measuring and how you should be measuring it. The first step is looking at a profitability formula. So you can look at the number of visitors that are clicking on your ads, outbound clicks from your ad campaigns, multiplied by the rate at which users are graduating through each step of your marketing funnel and eventually becoming a customer, multiplied by lifetime value. We use lifetime value because it's important to understand how your campaigns are impacting current and future revenue. If you're looking at just trackable purchases and trackable revenue, it's great from an optimization standpoint, but it's important to understand the future impact as well. And why is that important? Well, it's a better accurate representation of performance. It gives you a bit more leniency with your cost per acquisition targets, making you more comfortable with spending a little bit more for a customer, investing a bit more, and scaling up your order volume even quicker. Multiply those 3 together, it gives you a revenue metric, and then you subtract your variable costs, which is your things like production costs, shipping costs, payment processing fees, whatever other variable costs your business might incur, and that gives you a gross profit formula. So visitors is easy to calculate. Just pull it directly from the ad platform. Outbound clicks is the metric. Lifetime value, if you run a Shopify store, there's apps like Lifetimely that do LTV cohort analysis. If you have more of a ClickFunnels type marketing funnel, you can look at platforms like Hyros or Wicked Reports or manually export your customers and do a calculation. But graduation rate's a bit more complex and manual to set up, so we're going to dive into this one a bit more. So again, graduation rate is the rate at which users get from step A to B to C all the way to becoming a customer. And a bunch of different platforms that track this. Funnelytics is a great one that our agency is partners with, so highly recommended. We use this platform quite often. We talked about Hyros, Wicked Reports. Triple Whale is a relatively new brand, software company specifically for Shopify stores, really cool attribution tool, so recommend that one. Or Reeby's like a nicer version of Google Analytics. And then there's the free options. So you can set up custom tracking tags for each step of your marketing funnel using Google Tag Manager and push those drop-off events as conversion goals into Google Analytics, and then do something called a funnel visualization report that allows you to see exactly this drop-off. So that's the first bonus resource that I have. At the end of this presentation, we've pre-created a Google Analytics template that works specifically for Shopify stores, because Shopify stores have a default URL string, so you can just import it into your GA and start collecting this data. Step 3, optimize your funnel. So now that you're collecting the right data, you know how users are graduating through your marketing funnel, it's important to make sure that you're actually converting users. So the analogy that people often use is the leaky bucket analogy. So it doesn't really make sense to scale up your advertising spend if different components of your marketing funnel aren't converting from a profitable and an efficient standpoint. So we want to take a look at that a little bit further. So quick scenario, following with the real estate masterclass example, we've got the drop-off for people who are registering for the event, attending the masterclass, and then eventually opting into that $297 workshop offer. With drop-off tracking in place, we're able to immediately identify that there's an abnormally low graduation rate from people that actually get to the registration page and then initiate a registration. And similarly, people that register for the masterclass and actually attend the event. So we want to dig into this a little bit further. Another bonus section resource at the end, we've got it's pretty much the spreadsheet. You can readapt it for your own marketing funnel and input your purchase funnel steps, put in your actuals on how people are graduating, and it spits out how your funnel is performing. And you can put in your revenue or LTV price point, and it kind of gives you your revenue. So how do we improve these metrics? Well, if we didn't have drop-off tracking in place, it's kind of difficult to diagnose what the issue is. Like, are my ads not performing? Is the ad platform more expensive because there's increased competition? Maybe my landing page isn't loading quickly, or the form for registering doesn't work for mobile very well. But with funnel drop-off tracking, it's like, okay, let's zero in on the registrations initiated. A lot of people are getting to the page, but they're not initiating. And let's also zero in on everyone that is registering and figure out why they're not actually attending. So by looking at these two metrics, a few optimization scenarios, getting people to actually initiate their registration, well, perhaps there's a poor correlation between the ad messaging that you're providing and what people are getting on the post-click on the landing page. You want a really good alignment between the offer that you're conveying in the ads and how you're conveying it on the landing page. It's also super important because you're kind of qualifying users as well at the front end, and if you're paying on a CPC, you're not paying for users that are clicking your ad who aren't actually going to be able to afford whatever offer you're suggesting. Retarget with more value, there could be some hesitation, so you want to enter people into retargeting sequences, provide a bit more value, maybe share some free bonus opportunities to encourage them to come back and actually register, or the registration experience. Perhaps there's too many form fields, and every additional like requests that you have in your form will increase the likelihood that users don't fill out that form. So at the top of the funnel, you really just need to gather the data that's important, like full name, email, so that you can give them the masterclass link, and then get them into your funnel, and then collect some more data when you have more trust and credibility. On the attendance side, email and SMS sequences, maybe they registered and the event link is no longer available because they closed the browser. So make it super simple for them. Follow up with some tailored email sequences and SMS sequences and give them the registration link and re-communicate the value that they're going to get in the masterclass. Limit future masterclass availability or time slots. So platforms like EverWebinar and Webinar Jam often have different time slots that you can offer people. So whether it's a just-in-time event or a 12 p.m., 8 p.m., 12 p.m. the next day, what we found is the more future time slots that we offer, the less likelihood people are going to show. Even if it's a live event, for instance, in 30 days from now, attendance rates are usually less so than if people were to attend right away. So make it super convenient for them, do just-in-time events, and get them into actually watching the event itself. Scarcity and urgency is always a good one. Tap into that fear of missing out psychology. If you don't actually attend now, this event is not going to happen again, so you'll kind of miss out. So you can kind of play mind games a little bit with how you're communicating your message and make sure that people are actually attending. So with some of these optimizations, I want to look at how it can actually impact the profitability of your funnel. So we're going to stick with our profitability formula, and for this particular example, if we look at the number of users that are clicking on the ads that we're driving, if we look at the past 9 months, let's say it's 774,000 people that are clicking on your ads. Multiply that by the graduation rates that you have for your funnel, all the way down to completing an order, which is 16,800 people actually get to the final step and complete an order. Multiply that by your price point for the workshop, which is $297, gives you revenue of $4.9 million. Now, I've added 2 columns here, a target graduation rate, if we were to improve those 2 friction points, and the impact that that has on the number of users actually getting to the subsequent steps further down the funnel. So registrations initiated, if we take that from 39% to 45%, and masterclass attended, if we take that from 47% to 50%, you can see it has significant downstream effects on the number of people that actually complete an order at the bottom of your funnel. So instead of 279 users starting their registration, 323,000 users start a registration. Instead of 123,000 people attending the masterclass, 152,000 people attend the masterclass. And instead of 16.8 thousand users actually completing an order, 0.7 thousand users could complete an order. At a $297 price point, that's a $6.1 million value that you're getting from that funnel. 123% increase in an incremental revenue of 1.1. So this may seem like a big jump, but the idea and the whole purpose of this is to showcase that any incremental improvements that you make to friction points throughout your user journey are going to have massive downstream impacts on your net revenue. Step 4, advertiser funnel. So we're going to look at a couple things here in terms of audience targeting. The idea of leveraging first-party data to have better audience segmentation from a prospecting and a retargeting standpoint. A formula that we use for building highly effective creatives. Sequential messaging is the idea of having a really personalized ad experience based on where users are at in their buyer consideration or where they're at in your marketing funnel. And scaling performance, so some tips related to increasing budget and diversifying your marketing mix, and a quick forecasting example that we're going to showcase. So audience targeting. Here's an example of, or a screenshot of TikTok's Events Manager. So we have all of our custom events set up for each step of the marketing funnel. That provides opportunities with lookalikes, meaning that you can tell TikTok to find new users that are more likely to convert by looking at people that have historically purchased or executed certain actions that are valuable to your brand. You can create retargeting sequences and re-interact with people that interacted with your brand on or off Facebook, or embed exclusions so that you aren't targeting people that already saw the offer or purchased, and have better personalization with your retargeting sequences. Data is super important. If you have a new brand, you're going to have a bit more difficulty prospecting because you have to rely on demographic data, interest data that the platforms offer, and maybe some lookalike audiences off of your followers. But as you see more success, you're going to have a lot more data to feed the algorithm. You can build lookalikes off of purchasers. You can build lookalikes off of high-ticket purchasers and try to find more users that are more likely to get all the way through your funnel. Ad creative. So I'm going to walk through just a quick example that we use for this particular funnel. It's a direct-to-camera video of Scott, who is one of the founders of the example that I have been using. We have a number of different ad copy variations. So there's long-form and short-form copy variations, and we follow the hook, story, offer format. So you might be familiar with it if you've read Russell Brunson's Traffic Secrets book, but the hook is whatever that catch line is that's going to be thumb-stopping, preventing people from scrolling past your ad. Once you've grabbed their attention, capture their interest with a compelling story. This is your quick opportunity to tell them why they should care and why they should listen, and then make an offer that's hard to refuse, a super high value to price ratio, meaning that the value that they're going to be getting is significantly more than the price that they're being prompted to pay. So it's going to be hard for them to say no. This ad in particular, we spent $126,000, really good video engagement metrics, great ad engagement metrics, lots of reactions, over 1,000 shares, which expands the reach that this ad has seen because we're tapping into the networks of people that are sharing it. Lots of saves, meaning people are interested in the concept of the masterclass and kind of want to come back to see what it's all about. And lots of comments, positive comments, creating brand validation and credibility, which future helps people kind of have that validation to actually register people that you're targeting in the future. 5,800 registrations, $21 cost per registration. Keeping in mind that there is the workshop, the monthly subscription, the coaching packages, the break-even cost per registration for the entry point of this particular funnel is $40. So this ad has done really well. It's been very profitable, and we still have this running today, and we keep doing variations to try to beat the performance that we're seeing. So additional considerations, relevance, making sure your ads align with who you're targeting. Urgency, we talked about the fear of missing out phenomenon. Scarcity is kind of the same thing, having capacity with how many people you might register or how many people can actually purchase a product, which entices them to actually convert. Social proof creates validation. Big value to price ratio, which we talked about. Product showcase, people want to see what they're opting into, whether it's Scott actually doing a direct-to-camera or if it's a product that you're showcasing, creating some videos, doing some demonstrations or tutorials. Incentive, great for retargeting. People that are kind of considering, but they're not sure and there's some hesitation, you can incentivize them with a coupon or something like that. Reduce risk, put your money where your mouth is, 100% money back guarantee if people opt in. And it's a attention economy these days, so video is highly effective. And it doesn't need to be high production, but highly recommend investing a lot into your video marketing strategy, whereas just image-based ads or carousels don't quite do it from what we've seen in comparison to video. Sequential messaging, the concept here is aligning the message with where users are at in their buyer consideration. So this might be overwhelming, but just a quick example of a marketing funnel. On the left are your prospecting tactics, how you're driving people into your marketing funnel. Next, you have some landing pages that you're testing, maybe button colors, copy, things like that. People that get to the registration page and don't initiate registration, we already acknowledged that there was a big drop-off there. Maybe enter them into a 5 or 15-day retargeting sequence. Build some urgency and scarcity. Offer something different that has a higher value to price ratio. Maybe they just have a bit of hesitation. People that actually register, make the link to the event super visible through some email sequences. People that actually attend the event but don't buy the workshop, there's your opportunity to create some really well-tailored email or SMS sequences to get them to actually eventually convert. People that have gotten this far are pretty engaged, but if they don't buy, you can then enter them into a 5, 15, 45-day or masterclass abandon sequence. Build up the value a little bit more, add a discount. If they don't bite on that, create a bigger offer, and then eventually your biggest offer that's really hard to refuse. The whole purpose is to leverage data to have better audience segmentation so that you can nurture users, meet buyers where they're at, and nurture them down to eventually becoming a customer. Scaled performance. So we like to think of ad budget as a throttle. It's pretty straightforward. The more you spend, the more people will see your offer. The less you spend, the less people that will see your offer. But not every business is ready to spend. So if you're still in product validation phase, you're still trying to figure out the inner workings of your business, I don't recommend advertising much, to be honest. Maybe run a few tests to survey people or get some feedback, but you really want to have a working business or product and seeing some organic success before you start to scale things up with ads. Maintain speed, so you're getting some success, some conversions, but you're still trying to optimize your campaigns and your strategy and improving the performance. So you can kind of keep testing channels, ads, strategies, and then throttle up. You can spend more. Your funnel's profitable. You're seeing really good success, so you can start to scale up your results and diversify. Oftentimes platforms have a law of diminishing returns. The more you spend, you start to see performance plateaus. And at that point, in order to continue scaling, you need to find success in different areas, reach different audiences on different platforms, and scale order volume that way. A few quick tips on Facebook, increasing budgets every 2 to 3 days, 15% or so is kind of the max formula that we'll follow. The rule of thumb is 30% increases every 4 to 5 hours. Doesn't really restart the algorithm, but I highly recommend spanning that out over more days and budget increases in smaller increments, because we see that has smaller negative impacts on conversion costs. Automations in Facebook, so you can create rules and triggers on your campaign level that increase where your campaigns will automatically increase by certain increments if you're hitting certain performance benchmarks. Launching new audience segments from a prospecting standpoint. Bidding on highest volume. So you might be seeing a lot of success with cost cap or big cap strategies, but you just can't get the scale through them. Take a lot of those high-performing ads or audiences and put them into a maximized conversions or highest volume bidding strategy. Duplicate successful ads. As long as your audience saturation is in a good spot, audience frequency from a prospecting standpoint is lower than 3, for instance, typically you can see success in duplicating ads and getting a bit more budget through those high-performing ads. Harder to do when you're running a niche product or you've got a really specific geo or location and a small audience size. You don't really want to overuse an ad, but if you're like a national brand, you can see some success with that. Targeting new locations, obviously, assuming that your business can actually fulfill orders in those locations, and recommend having alignment with the ad messaging and the language of the country that you're targeting. CBO, taking, again, best performing ads, audiences, putting them into a CBO campaign, letting them compete against each other. Few diversification tips. So there's the ad inspect tool at the ad group level in Facebook. Shows you a correlation between ad spend and conversions. If your ad spend is going up and conversion costs are starting to plateau, it might be time to diversify. There's the audience saturation tool, which the blue line represents frequency above 3 from a prospecting standpoint. I would imagine you'd start to see some performance plateaus, retargeting, you have a little bit more flexibility. Google Campaign Overview, just looking at correlation between costs and conversions as you're spending more. Search impression share, so a great metric to evaluate if, how many impressions you're receiving in comparison to the amount of impressions you're eligible to receive based on the keywords and the audiences that you've got tied to that campaign. So if you're 90 or 95% with search impression share, you're starting to kind of max out the scale that you can get with that particular keyword strategy. So it might make sense to start to diversify. So performance plateaus we talked about. If you're starting to scale up and see performance plateaus, you can increase scale by diversifying into new marketing channels. Risk and reliance is a big one. Platforms are getting more and more unpredictable with ad disapprovals, account bans. Account managers and customer support reps are harder and harder to get in touch with. And if your business relies on one platform, you want to de-risk that, decrease your exposure, and find success in different areas. And multi-channel strategy. So, different platforms offer different benefits, whether it's different audiences or ad formats. And your strategy will be more effective if you're working on campaigns that work cohesively together. So, for instance, Google search can be a great prospecting strategy, tapping into high-intent keyword searches, get people into your funnel, but then Facebook's great at retargeting because of that visual aspect. You have that opportunity to really convince people why they should care and why they should actually buy your product. Finally, this slide also seems a bit overwhelming, but I just want to show you a quick goal-setting approach that you can take and allow you to forecast or plan budget scenarios for the future year in order to hit your goals. Let's just break it down. Each row represents a month. The best way to forecast or plan for future growth is to look at historical data. So it's hard to do if you don't have comparables to other brands or you don't have a lot of data with your business. But if you're kind of already a decent-sized business and you've got your data and measurement strategy intact, you can then start to do things like forecasting. Let's just look at the bottom row. So 2.8 million of ad spend for the previous year. Multiply that by an average cost per click of 2.25, gives you 1.19 million clicks across all ad platforms. On average, if you have a 1.41% purchase rate, that gives you 16,800 orders at a $297 workshop price, gives you $4.9 million of revenue. Now, I broke their revenue from the previous year down by month as a percentage allocation of the total revenue. The purpose of this is certain businesses have seasonality. So you can see in the summer months that demand is a little bit lower in comparison to some of the winter months. That's going to come in handy as we start to plan out our budgets. ROAS is a function of revenue divided by ad budget, 1.86% for this top-of-funnel initiative. If you have a 25% growth goal, so you want to increase your revenue from 4.9 million for this particular workshop to 6.2 million, taking into account and the assumption that you're going to get a similar ROAS to the previous year, you'll need a $3.3 million annual budget. And then we've broken that out by month based on that percentage of revenue allocation so that we can not overspend in months that naturally have a little bit less demand. All right, that's it. That's my presentation. So I really want to thank everyone for attending. My name's Brendan Manley. Just finally, I did mention that there's a few resources that I'd share. Spreadsheet for calculating your drop-off, and then the Google Analytics goals import template. You can reach out to me, and I can send these over your way alongside the presentation.
Awesome. So if you have any questions for Brendan, make sure you hit him up. Can you throw your contact information up there real quick, Brendan?
Yeah. Oh, it's gone.
It's okay. For
Yeah.
Q&A, what's your...
My email is brendan@virtualad.co, BRENDAN@virtualad.co.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Brendan.
Thank you.
Give him a round of applause. Thank you.